Hey everybody, John here from the esports department. Get ready to go over tonight's two-game LPL slate. For anybody that saw it in the chat, I did win the 333 last night. Very nice, very happy with that. Just the standard 4-2. It was four-way owned for a little over 10,000. And I would like to make a point to anybody that's playing like the single entries or the $44. I've seen a lot of conversation about stuff in the chat. Don't be afraid to just play standard 4-2s in those, man. I mean, my lineup was four-way owned. Sometimes the best way to get lower ownership is just to play maybe a slightly different combination of teams. You don't have to switch your build to something super weird, some weird one-off and stuff to try to get low ownership. I mean, it was a two-game slate. The lineup was four-way owned. It was just a standard 4-2. So don't be afraid to do that, especially in these smaller tournaments. If you're playing something like the $15, you might have to try some weird stuff if you want low ownership. But I personally I pretty much just play the 4-2s. So. Looking at tonight's games, FPX, they are minus 375, 5 and 6 on the season, up against OMG, plus 255. They are 3 and 7 on the season. FPX coming in with Gimgoon this time around. I do think that's a good move for them. Gimgoon is more of a weak side top laner. He's not a top laner that you focus a lot of energy around. Khan kind of wanted to be that way from what we've seen with him on FPX so far, and I think I much preferred it with Gimgoon. I think when Gimgoon is there, they also have a supportive mid laner, and it really makes it so that they can focus around their two primary carries, Tian and LWX, and I think that works really, really well. I'd like to see, I think Tian's numbers will get bumped from this change, with him being more of a primary focus than he was in the past, and LWX should skyrocket in value if the lineup plays the way they used to. That said, Gimgoon can play other kind of weak side stuff too. He doesn't necessarily have to be supportive. I mean, he plays the Gangplank. I like Gimgoon on this team personally. I was surprised they even picked up Khan, so I'm happy to see this happening. Over on OMG, no changes for them. They haven't had a really strong season so far. I think Icon and Curse are like a fantastic mid-top duo, but the rest of the team for me has been a complete letdown. Cold has been miserable. SMLZ has been pretty miserable, and Hackers having a bit of a resurgence this season, but it's not super exciting. On the FPX side, they're definitely on a backslide here. They had a pretty good start to the season. I didn't think they were playing excellently, but the season started pretty well for them. Recently, I think the most notable for people will be the 0-2 loss to Rogue Warriors, being the one that stands out. They also lost to JDG, but I think you kind of expect that. I still think this is a nightmare matchup for OMG. I think OMG's biggest weakness has been like the 17 to 27 minute team fights. And as poorly as FPX has been performing recently, that was always their strength. And I think you're going to see that again, and it might even ramp up a little bit with Gimgoon there, being, like I say, a little bit more of a supportive type top laner. I think it might be up their cohesion a little bit to have him back. Looking at the stats, 1753 to 1749, advantage to FPX. Goal differential per minute, minus 25 to minus 64. First blood, first turret, both to the advantage of FPX, as is dragon percent by about 10%. And at 15 minutes, OMG gets their one very minor victory where they are 44 points better, 44 gold better at 15 minutes. If you give OMG a 44 gold lead at 15 minutes, for me, that's not going to be good enough to win this matchup. I think FPX does pretty much everything well enough to beat them post 15 minutes, so I like FPX in the matchup quite a bit. Looking at the kill per win, death per loss, 16.3 kill per win for FPX to the 17.3 of OMG, so you're looking at a 16.8 there. Decent. On the OMG side, if you believe in OMG today, they're at almost 20 kill per win against 19 death per loss. They'll be a smash play if you believe in OMG. They rate to score extremely highly. I looked up the recent numbers for these teams in the last 3 weeks, and in the last 3 weeks, OMG's numbers are actually even higher. I think they're over 22 in either kill per win or death per loss. I can't remember, but they're just huge, and FPX's kill per win is actually higher in the last 3 weeks as well, though they don't have very many wins. A matchup that I think you want to target regardless, for me, this is the matchup to 4-stack from. If you want to go with OMG, that's fine with me. I personally think I'll probably end up on a decent amount of FPX. I really quite like them in this matchup, and they should have kind of low faith at the moment, coming off, I believe, 6 straight lost games. Going into the other matchup, Vici Gaming, they are minus 155, 5 and 5 on the season. Against winning teams, they are 0 and 4. EDG is plus 110, 3 and 7 on the season, 1 and 5 against winning teams. EDG for this matchup is going to go with Xiao Zhang and GG as their jungle and their top. Haven't had a lot of success with Xiao Zhang in general. GG, I think, has been the better of their junglers this season, but not by a lot. Over on the Vici Gaming side, they're going to Maestro in the support role. I think that's reasonable. Hong has not had a great season. Let's give Maestro a shot in there and see how he does. Looking at the stats, 1751 to 1725 for Vici. Gold differential per minute, minus 25 to minus 76, so another advantage for Vici there. First blood, first turret, it's first blood to EDG and first turret to Vici. Vici also has an 8% dragon control advantage and about 500 gold at 15 minutes. EDG is also on a very long streak of game losses. I want to say it's 6 in a row for them too. Maybe 1-6 or 1-7 in their last 7 or 8. Their roster's been shuffling all over the place. They did have some games where they didn't have Hope. Hope back now. The rest of the team really has just generally had problems this season. Definitely a live underdog at plus 110. I don't think they should be the favorite. Vici has kind of shown up recently and kind of gotten themselves to the 5-5 that I was not sure we would ever see them at, to be honest. I did not think Vici was going to have a good season. They've done pretty decently. I think they deserve to be a favorite in this matchup, even if it's just small. They are playing Leon. We talked a little bit in the Discord. For me, I personally don't think Leon probably gets subbed in this series. Obviously if they lose a game, it becomes significantly more likely, but it seems to me like Vici has had a lot of opportunities to jettison Leon this series and just play Ikes. They've had a lot of evidence to back that up. If the coach had wanted to go and say, look, man, Ikes is winning more, like, they've had opportunities to do that. Leon got himself in trouble and got suspended for a game. They didn't play him that series. They had no reason to ever bring him back unless they really want him to be the guy. So yeah, if they lose a game, Ikes might come in, but I want to say that Leon should play this series personally. And if you're going to play them anyway, you should probably try to play the lower percentage owned people. Leon and Maestro make a lot of sense in that. Looking at kill per win and death per loss, Vici with a 14.7 kill per win, not super exciting, to the 17.3 death per loss of EDG. When EDG wins, 18.4 to the 18.9. So if you like EDG to win this matchup, they make a pretty good 4-stack. I think they project better than FPX. So if you pair FPX and EDG together, EDG would actually be your preferred 4-stack. I think this matchup's pretty toss-up-y. I still think Vici Gaming is maybe a little bit overrated right now. I think EDG has some advantages in a couple different lanes. Whether or not Vici will be able to come out and take care of things, I guess we'll find out. But for me, I think it's pretty coin flippy. Feels like a day where I might go with FPX and like a mixture of these two teams, maybe. Something along those lines. Looking at possible cash game lineups, I do think you should play the favorites for cash, FPX and Vici. And you can actually get a Doinby captain with them, which is quite interesting. Oh, let me make sure it's not playing someone that's not actually playing. That's a possibility. Sorry about that, little issue there. But yeah, you can play an FPX Vici 3-3 if you wanted. Let's see. Vici is cheaper, so if you wanted, you could even play. You play iBoy captain if you were willing to play 4 Vici. What if you went down to support? No, go to jungle. If you went from Tion down to Leon, does that get you LWX? It does. So you can actually play an 80 carry captain for Vici if you want. That seems pretty straightforwardly pretty good. I do think LWX gets a boost from the fact that Gimgoon is back. Makes a lot of sense to me to play something like this. I will say, for cash, this might not be as good. I was just kind of experimenting there. I think if there's a way to get 4, I'm assuming you can easily get 4 FPX players. If you play the jungle, that leaves you 700 on there. Sorry about the dogs, guys. I don't know what's going on with them today. Let's see. It doesn't save you any money there. So you may actually have to play Gimgoon if you wanted to get Doinby captain. 400 more, 200 more. So you can play 4 FPX with Doinby captain as well. That makes a lot of sense for cash. You just have to play Gimgoon, I think. If you switch Gimgoon to Cube, then you will not have enough money to do anything else, I don't think. Yeah. So you have to play kind of a weird combination, but you can play a Dwayne B. Captain with 4 FPX, which makes a lot of sense to me. They're definitely the biggest favorite, and I think you want to have maximum FPX in cash, so that makes the most sense to me. As far as ownership, I do think it's going to be the straightforward FPX first, Vici second, EDG third, and OMG lowest. So if you're looking for a leverage play, I think it's OMG. A decent slate. Like, the ownership should be kind of split. I don't think any of these teams are going to be mega locked. Like, if this was Top Esports playing against OMG or something, I think you know, you want to get your leverage from the other game, or you want to try to play some OMG. But people will be a little bit off of FPX. They're definitely on a big downslide right now. They have a sub coming in. OMG hasn't been as bad recently. So yeah, it makes sense to me. I think all the ownership's going to be split enough that you can play any combination of these teams and feel pretty decent about it, as long as the field is decent. So that'll be all for me, guys. I got to go edit the video since I had multiple dog mishaps. But I appreciate you guys, and I will be on Discord and everywhere as usual if you guys want to chat, Twitter and Discord. So talk to you later, guys. Have a